Hello and welcome, guys. You are watching Nitros presented by Metamine Esports and 23 Legion Esports, and I'm Castron Mole, and we are together for four different matches. In the very certainty, we do have at four different matches with the two common map, that is Erangel, and then after that, I guess one will be our Rundu and another one will be our Miramar, and that will be our overall map schedule. I'm really excited to see the overall battles, and I'm your caster for four of the different matches, and I do need your engagement in all of these matches. And the very first match has been already started. Look at this. Our teams are being on their own desirable drop location, and the plane path sounds like this, as the plane path has been started from the area of chemistry and end up at the area of Primox. So the plane path is in the favor of zone, as I could able to say that. And yeah, this is some sort of centric plane path to have had. Moreover, we do have had some sort of 19 teams. Okay, the fight has been already begins over there, and players are getting knocked out as well, and that makes a finish. The very first two kill has been picked out by this team as well. So congratulations, they have done it, and this will be their initial frags to pick out, or initial blocks for the lobby. That was a loss for the team, but motivation for the certain team who grabbed it out. And look at this team grouping sports are over here. One of the player already got knocked in finish, and this battle is happening on the container side of Jospool, exactly at the site of Jospool. And team Death are also getting into the very battles. But if we have to talk about the team Nail Guru Kali for the team, look at these two of the player are in really low HP. 4 sports are over here. They have had got the very first elimination on their name. They are looking after some sort of fine angles. By the time they are confident enough, I could able to see that out. Look at the confidence. They just make their vehicle as a cover and loot out the loot that they just knocked and finished. But look at the team. Olympians, they are ready to take the revenge and all stuff like that. Okay, they are trying to brush the vehicle tire, and they did that so. So the vehicle is unusable right now, but trying to go for the swords, and they are just trying to take a revenge of their one player. So one player is called one. Okay, that was nice. And that will be the very fine revenge that they take out, and the completion of the very trade in the very normal sense. Look at this. Another one player also got knocked for this similar team. This goes the swords, and but this is a different team. Yes, look at this. For esports, one of the player already got knocked and finished by the team, but they have had managed to play casually for the enemy one. Look at this. Another one player got knocked out for the team, working for the trade balanced by the time. But the team who has been phased out this fight deficit will be the team Olympians, as they got exactly two player casually at the same time, but they have had to make out a finish with a knock. The revival will be little hard, since both of the players are on the very front line area or in the battling field, and the player that got knocked out is at in the backside area. So it will be some sort of hard and hard situation right over there. If we have to talk about the Brooklyn Sports, they have had lose two of the players, but by this time they are also taking some sort of revenge against the enemies, as I could able to say that. But that makes a finish. So equal trade between these of the very teams. Both of the teams lose out their two players at the same time. The situation was similar to each other. This goes the shots, and that makes some sort of fine damage against that of the enemies. But taking sports just should exit, I guess. And okay, look at this. That grenade was fabulous, and the projectile was accurate enough to make that or convert that player into a very knock. Last player standing for the team. Yahaber has to go for the battle and all. 1v2 fighting to be taken out. First player just got knocked out. The revival procedure just been initiated. The player looked pretty much confident in order to come for the very fight and all, but the player cancel out the revival at the last second of the time. And lastly, the player also got exited from here, and the whole squad of 4 esports got exited with 2 eliminations. So only 2-pointer match for them to face it out in the very first match. As by now, two of the teams, Brooklyn Esports and 4 Esports, will be the two different teams that got exited initially, whereas 4 Esports has just contributed or collected some sort of 2 points on their side, whereas the team Brooklyn just exited with only one track wins. If you have to talk about the NW project, they have had got some sort of 3 elimination on their very side. They are looking for the very last one. Yes, another one team are also over here, I guess, but no, that was the very same team. On the very front line, I could able to see the player for the Unity Sports as the last place standing. Yeah, but already lose his three teammates, but look at the shots, but the reflexes was pretty much quick. As the shotgun that he just used in the mid range and the connection that he built was truly impressive. And by this time, Unity Sports will be the very first team to get exited without any sort of points. But as with them, two different teams are also have also got exited, who got two elimination, one elimination consecutively. But look at this Unity. They got exited without any of the frag points, but the fight has been already begin at different areas. Well, Swanis just knocked up player for the team, Arjian. This will be the very second casualty. If they couldn't able to save that one player, then it will be a very loss for them to fish it out. FL Y Z and Esports is trying to go for the swords. This was the swords, but the swords will able to deal some sort of fine damages, but not now. At the very initial space, the sword couldn't able to get connected, but later on, that finds the fine connection with the exposure of that player, and Virex Sports will be the very team to face the very first knock for themselves. So they need to be more conscious, right on time for the team FLY and Godich over here trying to go for the spray and all. Virex Sports is trying to go for the shots, and that makes a very proper knock at the of the very place and trying to get up. Two of the player already got knocked out for the certain team. Last two players standing are over here. But the uncertainty will cause too much difficulties, as like I already mentioned out that look at this third player also got knocked out, and that makes a very clear cut finish. This will be the very first casualty, a full casualty, as the remaining two player got knocked out, but no, haven't faced casualty yet. But if I have to talk about the team, they are facing a lot of difficulties, as I have to talk about that. Look at this. They are trying to go for the grenade and all. Look at this. Okay, this player got a very fine angle. Make it out a knock, and that makes a finish. And the revival procedure will be pretty much easier, I guess, for the team Virex Sports. Initially, they faced out the very first knock, but the knock haven't been converted into a very kill, whereas they have converted two frag or two knock as a kill as well. If you have to talk about the team Naigu Kali, for this player team, two of the player already got knocked in finish, remaining two players standby. Sky Wild are over here as well. The revival procedure need to be executed right now. Look at this. The very player who controls are just healing himself up at the first, and later on he's trying to rescue his teammate as well. The rescue procedure have been already initiated and have had already been done out. He's safe and sound, but by this time he have or has to heal himself up and get ready for the battle right now. That makes a finish. Overly, they manage the squad fight. They do able to exit the whole squad at the time. They got a four elimination on the race side. If you have to talk about the team, Mad Pixie Sports, they have had a one player left. Naigur Khali just got exited at an Nasdaq 16 with a four elimination at on the area of Jospool by fighting against the team Skyville Sports. Look at the team EPS player are also getting knocked out for that very team as well. For the team MBD Sports, they got a very first elimination. But one fine fact is that they do have had four players standing on their own, so they could able to be confident more. The refuel of job is being done out at an open, which doesn't regard as a fine or safe thing to do right now. For the team Dream Team, they have already lost a single player for themselves. If you have to talk about the team KZD Sports, they are on four players standing. Okay, look at this. The fight has been already executed at on the area of this garage, and they do win that out. While a single player is at on that area, and that player also get killed. For the team, 4 BB players are getting knocked out. Virex Sports just got 4 elimination, but at what cost? I must have to say that they have had lose the very first player for themselves. But at the initial stage, they are the very team to face knock at the initial one. But later on, they have had managed a very beautiful clutch against the team FLYN. But it was a true fact they have had lose a single player. But by this time, they have to work for 3-man domination. Elimination was fine enough, by this time. But later on, they have had to work for the survival game, I guess. That will be the very good thing. We have already lose out some sort of one, two, three, four, and five teams in total. Whereas the team RV just missed out the very first battle or first game. I hope them to see in the very next one. As I have to talk about the team for Hungarian, Hungarian boys trying to go for the shots, but lastly he also got exited from the lobby. That makes a clutch. The team, KZD Sports, digital and left no clues at all. Haven't had to face any sort of difficulties in that sort of squad fight, and that was easy job for them to make it out as enemy team could unable to perform fine. If I have to talk about the team Applix X, they got exited at hashtag 2 bill. The elimination count will be 0 for them to have it, so 0 pointer match for them to face it out. Look at the team. Resigned, not Regen, but Regen Esports. Two of the players for the team already got exited, so last room standing. This comes the domination in terms of one of the player. Okay, Take is just getting close in the battle right in time. But they do have added the normal disadvantage. So this is the very major loss for them to face it out in this battle. But let's just hope for the fine. Trying to go for the grenade and all. One of the player is coming closer with that the very P90 weapon, and the grenade was pretty much fine as that could able to deal some sort of fine damage, not exactly fruitful, but some sort of fine damage. I must have to say that this comes the Molly, but Molly couldn't able to affect any sort of HP loss against this player, and he was pretty much ready for another grenade as well. So the go zone has been already converted. So seems to be pretty much fine. Trying to go for the constant grenade. There comes the swords, and that makes a knock for the team. Two players just got knocked out at the same time. Look at this. I guess last place standing was there, and he also got exited. Lastly, REZEN also got exited from the lobby at hashtag 11. That makes a six frag for the team KZ Esports. I have to talk about the team IAD Sports. The player already got knocked in place. This goes the swords against that of the very player. Project GW was the team name. Initially, they got Aaron Barrel at the area of apartment. Later on, they got somewhere up where they face another one team. Yeah, fight at the time or class at the time. But in this sudden fight, they have had faced two-player casualty. Look at this surprise and practice will be the very domain that got exited by doing this class right now against the team IT Sports. They have had also managed off-player casualty for the enemy team, but if you have to talk about the team Skywell Esports, last week standing have had to manage this class, and I think it will be a little hard to do right now. Let's go for the fight. Let's go for the fight. This goes the swords, but okay, the damage was truly impressive. He must have to heal himself up on the time, but he couldn't able to do that. So, and lastly, he also got exited by the team. Yes, Centura UNQ just managed the squad class right over here, but by this time they have had lose a very first player for themselves as well, and Sky will just get exited at hashtag 10 with a full elimination that they got by fighting against the team Neil Gurkhali. If we have to talk about the team Morvex Esports, they have got three elimination. Top Love got two elimination contributed by his side, but four players are available in this very scenario, which is one of the main assets for the team to have at. Number band is Acid. Okay, look at the team. Virik Sports. At initial phase, they got exited. Okay, they got a phase battle class against the team FLYN at in the area of their drop that was Astina Polina. Later on, they have had to win that battle, but with a player cost. But later on, they have had also faced another one casualty by their side. But if I have to talk about the team, KZ Natia just got domination on his name with a three elimination by his side. KZ Sports, Moxie is just trying to heal himself up, and he was the top fragger for the team right now. Centura UNQ is also here. If I have to talk about the team YX Sports, three player already got exited, and this is the very last place standing, which is responsible for the battles, which is responsible for the overall first match. As last place standing is trying to go for the shots. Look at this, he has to manage the one view clutch, which he couldn't able to retreat out, and lastly, he also got exited by the team MPD, and they got final elimination, but the Virus exited at hashtag 9 with a 5 elimination. So 5 pointer match for them to face it out. If I have to talk about the team Olympias, only 2 minutes standing. Two player already got knocked in finish, but one fact is that they have had win out a very squad fight against the team 4 Sports at the area Ferry Pier at the initial phase. These two teams were fighting, but at last they have had lose two player among themselves. So the healing up procedure is being started, and they are just trying to retreat out from this area since the zone has been converted into the very different sites. But this is not a very fine area to be relay on, since the zone is more 100 meter away from there, 100 meter far from there. And look at the very team Centura, UNQ, last place standing. If I have to talk about the team KZ Sport, two of the player already got knocked in finish, but team IAT is also facing some sort of difficulties by the team MPT Sports. MPT Flatness just got three elimination and got the very first domination on his name. Let's get into the very zone. As okay, the zone seems to be pretty much familiar, but okay, Rosemary also got exited from the lobby. So for that certain team, last place standing, they have had got the very single elimination on their side. Impidi Boombo also got three elimination on his side, and this will be the domination for his name as well. This comes that, and IT Sports also got exited at as the 8 with a single elimination, so they could able to grab some sort of 2 points only. Remaining 7 teams are over here, and I'm pretty much excited to see which will be the very first team to grabbing out this game on their side or winning the title of champion for the first match, which will be that certain team. I'm being pretty much excited. Teams are getting closer, and enclosement of the circle makes the team to head out in the very fine portion of the very zone. The vehicle film job is being done right over there. If I have to talk about the team Dream Team as well, they have lose a single player by their side, but remaining three players are ready for bearing any sort of consequences, any sort of clashes right now. Okay, that wouldn't be effective enough as there is no any sorts of enemies. You are just waiting, wasting your ammos, which is limited in number. Only 150 is regarded as a limited ammo. That is not a fine portion of ammo to have at. If I have to talk about the center, UNQ is getting just back to the area which he just lastly being relayed on. But I guess he has been here to get that vehicle. I guess the fuel was really low, so he decided to change out the vehicle, but the vehicle was not usable anymore. So yeah, he chose to be out of that area silently. But look at this: 16 players and 7 teams are over here. The game has been already converted into 20 minutes of the starting time. Look at this. Let's go the spray. This goes the shots. This goes the shots, but could unable to connect roughly right on time. The vehicle damage. Lastly, that got crushed as well. And lastly, the player himself got exited, and Team NW Project just got eliminated from the lobby. The project remains on closure. The project of getting chicken dinner was unsuccessful for that team. But it was a fact they have had got some sort of 5 elimination. So in total they got 6 points in the single match. In the very first one, but Sports just getting closer for the battle proposition. And look at the shots and look at the knock against the team. Infinity Sports and trying to change the seat and go for the shots, and that makes another one knock. That makes finish either. Let's go for the battles and all. Let's go. And that makes the last player to face casualty from the lobby. So remaining 5 teams were being yeah, fighting for the glorious victory of the very first match. Morbix Sports. They scores the shots. KZ Sports is being ready, and they got a fine offside area advantage or hill advantage. Look at the very first knock. At the time, the player just got knocked out. Dream Team is facing a lot of difficulties right on this time. If I have to talk about the team Columbios, they are also getting knocked out in the very same time. OP Sports are getting knocked out. Last place standing for that certain team. If I have to talk about the team Centera UNQ, last place standing is over here. I better to just get into the very zone on time since the another zone closer will be holding on some sort of less than 30 seconds. Only 20 seconds left, as I have to say that Movix Sports got still elimination by this strike, but Monkey also got knocked out for the second time. Monkey is being a liability for the team to bear it out as he is getting knocked times and again. That is creating some sort of hard and harsh situation for the team to face out. Centura, UNQ, Josh got closer and got a fine ace of the zone. Lastly, Team OP also got exited from the lobby. Olympios got exited as a 5 with a 4 elimination. That makes total points of 7 points. And KQ222 just got a domination on his name. Congratulations to him, and let's get ready for the grenade. That goes, but the projectile wasn't that accurate enough, so couldn't able to connect or be fruitful enough. Teams are getting ready. Monkey is at in that area. And lastly, he also got exited from the lobby. So remaining three teams are over here, but okay, he also faced some sort of baggage drop right now. The difficulties is being multiplying times and again for that certain team, and KZ just decided to get closer for the battlefield prophets. He just gets down off his vehicle and trying to go for the one in one shotgun shot on that makes knock. Okay, look at this. Another one player at on the very offside area. So yeah, they quickly finished that player. About grab some sort of 19 elimination on their very side. Chinta UNQ is a very solo player who have carried his whole team on his shoulders till hashtag third. As if we have to talk about the elimination count, as we have grabbed some fine frags with the 4 elimination on his own. Look at the shots. Okay, another one player got knocked out. This will be the battle of 1v1v1, which will be the very team to grab out this very first game on their very side. That is the very question that is running in my head. The games goes intense right now. The intense battle is being executed right now. If I have to talk about the zone, I guess Sendera UNK, the last player for that certain team, have got a very fine portion of the zone. As remaining two teams are struggling to get inside of that as well. Okay, but the teams are looking after themselves. They are being hungry of their each other bloods at the time, but that will be advantage for the enemy player. But lastly, the player for the team KZ also got knocked and finished. So last two players availability, but lastly the player himself, X1 Esports, got the very beautiful second inner. As the very last player did it all on his own, I have to give all the contribution. Congratulations to that one of the player. I must have to say that he is the one. He had made out the very choices that keep him alive and his team alive till the last. Lastly, the patience got really intense. At the last battle, he did it. As the thing he have done out earlier is that he have used a very fine rotation and he got to that drop side area which was really great, and all of the things he did was the very thing that led him to the victory. And congratulations for the team X1, and that was really a very fabulous battle. But I'd like to congratulate that last player who stay till the last, and lastly he got a very win for the team, and that was really fabulous. And yeah, the very first match has been already done out and taken out by this very team, so called Gentara UNQ. I guess they have got some sort of fine frags, and yes, that was true. Whereas Latinx got a very single frag, and Zigrib is just got 2 elimination by his side, and another one player, the player I am talking about, was the player IDX with a 6 elimination. In total, they have got some sort of 9 elimination. 1600, almost 1700 damage, total damage, and they got 19 points in the very first match of the very super weekend of Night Cross series that is presented by Metamind. And okay, okay, here it is. The top player will be the MVP player will be our none other than IDX himself with the 6 elimination, and he deserved to be one of those. And he is the only player that lead the overall team to get the very first second inner. So I like to congratulate. That was really a very good game for this player. And lastly, the very patience was very truly emerging and impressive as well. And I'm getting excited to see the remaining players in the MVP section. And second one will be our Bakes off Lob with the 6 elimination as well. But at the third, we got a player named KZ Mokshi with a 5 elimination. At the fourth, we got another one player for the team KZ Looks with a 4 elimination. And lastly, we got a player for the team Project MW with a three elimination, and this will be our top five players for the match. And if we have to talk about the match rankings, at the top we will able to see the team Kizit with the 19 points in tour. But the points was differ. No, yeah. Look at this. Points was differ as 14 elimination count and then 5 point as placement as they got actually that hashtag thought. And second one will be the team Centera U and Q who have had got the chicken dinner, but they got at on second. I don't know what was the reason behind that, but I think third Morvix Sports is here with us 17 points, and these are the three teams who got double digit points on their side. At the fourth, we got a team MPT Esports with the 9 points, our team Olympias with the 7, and NW Project with the 6, and 5 for the Vertex, and 5 for the Dream Team. Skywell just got 12 elimination by killing that certain team at on Jospul area. That was the team so called Nai Gurkhali. And then after that, in 10, we got a team Nai Gurkhali that is, I am talking about at the last fight with the Sky Wealth. And at Nasdaq 11, we got the team 4 Esports with the 2, and 2 for the I8 as well, and 4 Hungarian boys with the 2 points. Brooklyn got 1, and Madpix got 1 as well with the Flying Esports as well. But remaining of the very teams are here with 0 points. Reason Unity, it looks and I guess Red I was absent in the very first battle. So I am expecting their engagement and initiation in the very second one. The very first game has been taken out by the Centata UNQR Team X1 Esports with the 19 points. We do have a remaining 3 matches left. The very second match will be the match of none other than Miramar itself, the long and strategy map. That is a very interesting map to play out and talk about, and I'm getting pretty much excited. And this is all about the very first game of Super Weekend Night Ross presented by Metamine Sports. Okay, guys, that was a very true fact. We must have to, look after the remaining 3 games as well. And I'm Castron Mole on your service, and I will meet you at the very next game. Till then, take care. We'll be right back. Enjoy the highlights. Okay, guys, we are being ready for the match number two, as we have had already seen the very first battle. Okay, and yeah, the very first battle was very good, and we are getting ready for the match number two. I guess the second match will be the match of none other than Myanmar itself. The game has been already started, and we could able to see the match picks over here with the 80 players, with the 20 teams in total. Each and every teams have had four players on their own. The zone seems to be pretty much odd according to the plane path and stuff, as the plane path started from the village they met and ended up at the area up to Ramuda, but the zone was pretty much different than that, as yeah, the zone really on the area of Los Leones area. The fight has been already begins between of the very teams, and Ukraine Esports is facing some sort of difficulties as number of players are getting knocked out at on that very place. And look at this, and that makes a finish. But NW project are also facing knocks at that place, and not just knock, but they are trying to just get back, but couldn't able to do that. So I just think that's so. And look at this team, White Eagle Sports. And in the very first game, they have been facing out or drop class against the opponent Z1, but by now there is no sort of drop class. But if we have to talk about the Green Sports, the team is facing a lot of difficulties. Last place standing. And in the area, okay, yeah, see the Del Pad. This fight is being executing. Lastly, the very last place standing for the team, Ukraine, the Kirito himself get knocked and finished. Lastly, they get exited from the lobby at hashtag 20, and they will be the very first team to get exited. And the one more back fact is that they got exited without any of the points. 0 point match for them to have it. But the very first match, they could able to get some sort of single elimination. But this is more better than that. Naigur Khali is over here as they lost three of their players. Last place standing is over here. He is just looking after for revenge to take on against that of the very enemies. By this very time, they got a very single elimination, but in the very last match, they got 4 points as a frag point. But this game is being something different than that, as they face casualty in a very initial phase for the team mad picks as well. They are getting inside this of the very source. Okay, looting loot, something of fine loot, as I have talked about that. And if I have to talk about the team, yes, okay, multiple battles is being happening right over here for the team. VEX player are getting knocked and finished by the team. NW project surprise us, did it all on his own. I guess he have done some sort of 1v2 clutch. Last place standing for the Morvex Esports is over here. Naigur Khali will be the very second team to get exited from the lobby, but they got exited with a single frag, which is bad than the very first match, but good than the team Blue Green Esports as they got exited with a single, not a single, but zero frags in the match. And another one team to get exited will be the team ENW Project. They got exited with 3 points by their side. If I have to talk about the team, Sky will get his getting close, he scores the shots, and that makes a knock. That was nice, but beside of that, he however has to think about his teammate as well, make the player stand on his own by doing rescue, but the rescue procedure is being vulnerably disturbed right on time. The revival procedure has been already initiated, and have it already done that. And yeah, that player was lucky enough to get revival at on this very yeah, problematic situation as well. Four Hungarian boys are over here. First player already got knocked in finished by that certain team, and this goes the shots, and that will be the very fine knock. Another one player was there, but okay, what can, yeah, he also got converted into a very low HP. So this player is also facing some sort of difficulties, as the player could able to get back, but the Molly was on point, but he was lucky enough to get back, but not really lucky enough. He got the swords on the way of running back towards a fine cover. Rather than that, one of the player for this certain team, for Hungarian boys, Habert went for a flank. I guess he will make some sort of difficulties. Look at the knock. First knock that he Habert just honored, but not really. He also got knocked out. Last place time will be our Sneaky. Sneaky just got closer, not for a sneak peek, but for a rescue procedure. Yeah, the procedure has just begin. I guess this will be a very successful rescue. I will able to see. Okay, that was nice one. One of the player for the team, Sky Wilt, just got knocked out. That player is at on the very low HP at that certain point for the team. Okay, one of the player Dino got knocked out at on the very upside area at this very certain point. To talk about it, I'm being pretty much excited. Look at this, four Hungarian boys have had to just let the player to be dead since there is no sort of possibility to save himself easily. But the player is taking risk at the risky risks at the time. Sneaky is just getting back worried, but the minibus wasn't a very great choice in the map like Miramar. It is really unstoppable vehicle which couldn't able to sustain in this sort of yeah ways or routes, whatever you may be call that out. But look at this, the player went for the revival in two normal counts, got another one knock at the same time. This is not a very fine thing. Okay, they're trying to with the swords by this time. Okay, that's a swords, but okay, that makes some sort of fine swords against that, and they are trying for a dominance against that of the very certain team. Okay, sequentially they have had faced two player casualty in the very situation. Let's just get closer. Okay, this goes the swords, and that makes a knock. And lastly, last player just left over there, and okay, the player is just over there. This man is out a knock at the very time. Yeah, he do need some clinical support, but sadly he don't have any sort of healings. Lastly, he also got exit from the lobby by the team. Four Hungarian boys. Okay, look at this. The boy looking like a cowboy. Just man is out the very last player to be dead, and they got full elimination on their way side, and that was very a very good starting, as I have to say so. If we have to talk about this certain team, the zone seems to be pretty much fine for the teams, but not really for most of the teams as they are outside the very zone and yeah, struggling to get inside. But inside the very zone, I could able to see some sort of three teams only over there. Yes, look at this. That will be the very fine knock. Such an example. Okay. So such an example started or exclusive start. We could able to see that start as like that since they have done a very fabulous fight at initially with the team. Yeah, Sky Wrath for esports also get exited by this very time. Not a good thing. Not a good sign in this very event for the certain team. All of the sudden the team faced two player casualty. Third player also got knocked out. So last player was over there. Fire Three Sports is over here. They have had got some sort of three elimination on their side. I Glitchy also got taken down at the very time we did. Okay, they are trying to be organized right now as with the four place time just looting out the very some sort of fine loots in order to be organized and perform a very decent organized match in a proper way. Because it's for the team MPD Esports, they are just getting ahead by the time explosion trying to with the swords and all for the team VE Zeus just get okay, just get some sort of three elimination on his side. He got a very dominated tag. Look at this for the team EPS. Another one player just got knocked out. But if we have to talk about the Morvik Sports, they got exited at Aztec 14 with a 5 frags in this very present situation. Okay, another knocks on the board. Okay, not just knock, but that makes a finish as well. Interesting fight so far. They have had got 5 elimination. That was truly impressive, and that will regard as a fine starting. But if we have to talk about the team, four Hungarian boys, they are at on the very last man with a very low HP. I guess there is no any sort of clinical support for him to yeah be really on or some stuff like that. If he do have at one, then it will be really easy for him to heal himself up and get in the very zone and stuff like that. For the Unity Sports, they are at on 4 place standing. Okay, the area seems to be clean. Dream Team are just getting ahead by the time, but one of their player already got punished by the enemies, but remaining 3 players are on their own. But look at this. Team Olympius is trying to go for the shots against the Team Dream Team. I guess that was a very fine knock, and yeah, another one knock on board, and that makes a clear-cut finish for the Team OP. There must be a survival game on with a bunch of heroes. They have lost their the very first player by the time they have already get a good position in their hand as a zone position. That was fine. Let's get closer. MBT Sports just got 3 elimination on their side. If I have to talk about the team Biotic Sports, they have got 3 elimination. For the team Olympians, they are not sustainably happy with their position, so they are moving forward for a different area. Okay, they are waiting and searching for a decent sport inside of the circle. I guess decent isn't just enough for the team, so they are moving quickly for a more final area. But it seems to be they are inviting some sort of risks against them. So yeah, in terms of rotating like that, they must face some sort of rotating classes, I guess. KZD Sports have got some sort of 5 elimination on their very time, and at all this very certain situation, they're at the top with the 19 points in the very first match and remaining 5 points in the very same match that we are looking after. Okay, okay, by the time, given the fact that Unity Sports have had performed so bad in the very first match, as they haven't got any sort of points in the very first one, but they are trying to be more organized in this very match. They are yeah, continuing this game with a few fluency of players by making them available. By this time, they are neutralizing themselves by not being yeah, forcefully intended in any sort of battles right now. Okay, let's get ready. Of playing esports is still here. Two of the player already got knocked in finished. So last one is standing, trying to get a fine angle against that of the enemies. I guess they are looking after the team Dream Team, trying to put the shots, but there was no sort of players. But he is definitely at on the rooftop, but he couldn't able to see that player in order to punish him. Look at the shots against the team KZD Sports, and that makes a right connection. The vision was pretty much clear, and that find a very fine value with a point as a frag one, but no, not really. The revival is being tried to down out at the very same time, but look at this, trying to look at the shots. Let's get ready. Okay, smoke is being just intended to make out a sort of cover. Look at this. Okay, they are raining down to the death and destruction at the time, either to be dead or destruct the enemy's team that are causing that consequences against them. It seems to be pretty much fine. The player Moxie is just calculating the risks, just getting warmed up. Let's get closer for the battlefield purposes, but yeah, the projectile doesn't seem to be accurate at all. Moxie is just doing that loading job. Oh, the player just got forwarded, and at the time, the very first knock. Okay, second player also got down, but Holy Squad got dead. I could not able to see remaining two player. How did they get knocked and finished by the time? Only 2 players are there in this battle. In this sports phase, we again the same bad, full, pitiful game in this very match as well. 0 point match for two sequence match or consecutively at two different matches. So only two maps left by the time. The slamming was not good enough, but one bad fact is for the team is that they have lose the very player Mokshi. So I don't think so. They do have had a very fine vehicle in order to go inside the very zone, but one of the player have had one. But the cemented area is outside the very zone. So Team Olympias also have to retreat out of this area on time. Okay, it will be hard to implement a split strategy at on this period time being really on three player only, as one of the player already got knocked in place, so they couldn't able to work on that certain dual split. So it will be really hard for that split strategy, but let's see how the game goes by their side. Why the sports is trying to get ahead, and look at this, they have had got a very fine ease of our zone. Okay, guys, that makes a very knock against that enemy team. Byrgi Sports is trying to go for the constant shots and alls, but pressing forward wouldn't be a very fine decision to make it out, since numerous number of the teams are being looking for exposure by the certain team to in order to get that area, that fine area on their side. But look at this, Imperi Sports just faced another one knock at the time. And okay, look at this. For the team Raging Esports, it is really necessary to be back, since the player has been converted into a very low SP. He is utilizing some sort of bandage. Okay, he's going inside this of the very cave, I guess, in order to be safe enough. Sport is trying to get into the very barrel. I guess the utilities will be proficient in order to use at the time. Good shot, that fight knock. Okay, that was fabulous, Wangi. And that makes a finish as well. They have had got some sort of 5 elimination. They are trying to get up. Okay, the player is at really low HP. Let's go for the push. Look at the shots. Okay, but the flat nades also got flat nade by the enemies. Yeah, that shots, bullets, the perfect connection make him knock. Go for the shots. Okay, okay, okay. But no, he also got knocked out at the same time. Last player standing, last and remaining player standing is over here. He is responsible for the fights right on time. That player is at an offside area. Lastly, he also got exited from the lobby with that of the very Moli connection. That makes a clear cut finish, and the team so-called cases sports got 11 elimination in total. So they are being some sort of unstoppable right on time. That will be a very tactical retreat. They have had a very survival mentality with a fine aggression as well. They have been into the very fight with a knock trade at the same time. Okay, they are rotating their troops in a very fine manner. Just looking after the swords. This goes the swords at the very time the fight just get wrapped up. So they are heading forward for a very fine area to really earn, since this is only a very age. So they have to work for a fine area as well. This is not a good area as well, since the area was on a very down deep. So down deep will be a very difficulties, a disadvantage for the team that could able to face some sort of difficulties by opposite enemies or opposite team who have had got a very fine upper side angle at this period time for the team. Centra UNQ Sports. One of the player already got knocked in. Okay, okay. And okay. By the time, look at this, another one player also got knocked and finished. And Soilis, I could able to see all only player available for this spirit team who have been converted into top 8 teams. The game seems to be more interesting.
The game seems to be more interesting, and this is one of a very good piece of set by the
Okay, I
team.
guess he's not available at the moment. We have to go through the team. Vaidic Sports.
Yeah,
They have
this
a
time.
3 player. Yeah,
Okay.
okay. For this very team, the very first casualty already they have had faced it out, but remaining players are over here and they have had got a very fine aggression soilist, as they got 11 elimination on their own.
Yeah, Team Olympus as well. So already got 3 eliminations and 3 players off for them, and one of the player already getting down. Goga too was there, and right in this time, even the players coming out of way, and Flynn Esports They comes in nearby that, and even this time the players will have to come inside for the circle, and that would create some sort of chaos right in this moment. And even this time, Emperor, he needs to maintain his empire right now, and while maintaining his empire there is all
True.
sort of the players, they will just be getting inside the circle, they will just be fighting and battling it down. No any players casualty till now for this three players, but right away the circle closes in and the players should get more compact and more organized way from this particular side. And even though this is the time for the survival time where you can get any kind of the points where the team can be eliminated. If one team eliminated, then you will get a one extra points for them. Yeah, and that's a very interesting fact as well. So here we go. Again, the fight has been continued.
Okay, only 6 teams are over here.
Hmm.
As why now to be, as like the Soilis said earlier, the team however has to try for organized match. As by the time we will able to see the team Kids Sports, they are just trying to get into the very house right now, since it is really essential to get into the very house if they need to get into the very zone. There is no any possible way out without engaging in that certain battle, as they are getting backward by the time at an offside area. I could able to see a very team at that hillside. This goes the shots against that of the very player that convert him into a very low HP. Village Sports is also here as the last player standing. I could not able to see any sort of survival option on him, as he have to get open. But the player, I guess, at the offside area have had a fine idea about that player. Look at the shots, and that will be the knock. Cage Natlia just managed a knock at the time. Last remaining 3 teams are over here, and the Natlia is trying to get out of the zone with the help of vehicle, as he have had faced some sort of very bad damages from the zone. Got 12 elimination, but at a player cost. So they are aggression enough. They do got that aggression. Two aggressive teams are fighting in the very precise situation. Look at the source against the Nose Sports, not Nose, but VRX Virex Nose. Goes the swords, that makes a very fast knock against the rest of the very team, and I guess that makes a finish as well. It will be really hard to manage the rival, but case it also take their opportunity to take that player out, as they got a very fine exposure at the time. Team Olympius is still here. 3 of the player already got knocked and finished. However, has to get up in this very present situation, as being a very last player standing here, we have had a lot of responsibility to get uplifted by himself. Pirate Sports is trying for the yeah, for sure. Look at this. The fight turned out to be really interesting. Last 3 teams with a 3 player or 3 player must be this must be regarded as a solo fight for 3 of the different teams, which will be the very team to get wrapping up the very second game scenario. Look at the spray. That player going for a very fine spray. Lastly, that player also exited 1v1 battle at the last. But KZT Sports have had got a fine zone, I guess. But the player is trying to get inside the very zone. But lastly, the player doesn't choose to be denied kill. But lastly, he have to face out that. But last and lately, the team KZT Sports have had done a very fabulous battle. Lastly, the situation was same for all of the 3 teams, as at the last stage, solo survival for 3 different teams, whereas team Virix have had already done facing 2 player casualty, one at the very first and remaining 2 player at the very last phase that we could able to see that. And with the team KZD Sport, they have had done a very fabulous battle. I guess they have had got some sort of 11-12 fracks, but the aggression was much more on the side of Virix. But the zone advantage was the very advantageous thing that they got in this very match, I guess, for the team KZD Sports. But the chicken dinner define themselves as the champion, but Virex is one of those who just missed out. But yeah, they have done a very fine battle. For the team KZD Sports, they have got some sort of 13 elimination by this side with a 2000 plus damages. If I have to talk about the total points, they have got 23 points in the single match. That was really fabulous. If I have to talk about the MVP, and that was VRX, yeah, VRX Kui. Oh, okay, something, something. But look at this elimination with the 920 elimination. Oh, not 920 total damage with the 6 elimination. Survival time was a little low, but that was not a true fact, I guess. That must be a glitch. 1 in 30 seconds survival in 6 frag, that is impossible, right? But if I have to talk about the leaderboard after him, another one player will be a Natia, who's just able to convert the match into the very second, the very last place survival for the team KZ and the only reason of chicken dinner. And look at this at on top, we will able to see another one player. But if I have to talk about the match rankings at the top, we will able to see the team KZ Sport with the 23 points. But Virex is one of the finest team in the lobby as they got 21 points in total with the 15 fracks by themselves, which is much more higher than that of KCD Sports. I thought we could able to see the another team, so-called Team Olympias with the 12 points. Fourth will be our Mad Picks with the 10 points. Fifth will be our Sandra UNQ, the very champion for the very first match. But it must be regarded as a fine game for themselves as well. At 6, we could able to see another one team, MPD Sport with the 6 points. 7 will be our Morbex Sport with the 5 and 5 for the 4 Hungarian boys. And if I have to talk about the leaderboard in collective after match 2, the very MVP till now will be the player none other than KZ Natlia for the team KZD Sports with the 9 elimination. Secondly, we got another player that is our IDX, the very first game top fragger. Thirdly, we got a player named as KZ Moxie with a 7 frags, and at fourth, we got a very player VRX, one of the player for the team VRX with the 7 elimination on his side. Lastly, we got a player for the team KZ as well. But at the top, we will able to see the team KZ Sports at the top with a single chicken dinner. But the aggression, the consistency was on point. Altogether, they have got some sort of 42 points. Second will be the team White Sports without any sorts of chickens, but 20 pointer gap between these of the very teams. And on third, we got a team that was champion in the very last match, but by this time they have had got only 6 points, but they could able to get into that very sector. But at an second base, we could able to see 4 Hungarian boys with the 7 points in total, not so good. 10 Dream Team with the 6 points, 11 4 Sports with the 6 points, Tubal Flynn with some sort of 3 points, and at on the last place we could able to see Reason, Brooklyn, and Unity Sports with the Explosion X on the line. Overall, we have already finished out 2 of the matches, and the very first one taken out by the team X1 Esports, second one by the team AZ Sports, not AZ but KZ Sports. Remaining 2 matches will be our Rondo and Erangel. Next match will be the map of Rondo, and which will be the very team to grabbing out the very next MC container. If that is, or if that team will be different from them, or among them will be the one to get the another chicken dinner as well. That is a very question that is running in my head. But in order to solve that problem, we must have to get into the very match. But that match will be held after some sort of time. But till now, me, Caster, Anmol have had to go for a small break. You are watching Night Rush series presented by Midaman Esports and Legion Esports, and we'll be right back in a moment. Till then, enjoy the highlights. Okay, guys, welcome back. We're on the very night Ross presented by Metamine Esports and yeah, Legion Esports. And I'm Gastron Mole, and we are at on the very third or second last match of the event. I'm getting excited for the second last match as we have already seen two different battles in two different of the matches, and the very first match was the map of none other than Wrangle itself, and second was the map of Miramar. In the very last match, the team KZ was the one team who got a very fine and fabulous chicken on this side. And okay, I don't thought this is the map of Rondo with the 80 players with the 20 teams we are going in, and this is the map where teams and players of each teams will able to get second life or respawn situation. And look at the team, Mad Pix Esports. They have got some sort of double digit points, which is 10 in number in the very past match. But by the time the fight has just been executed over here, and that makes a very fast knock. The bloodshed has been already started right on this time. Players are not just getting knocked but finished as well. Have got two elimination, but by a very same player at the same time, I guess. And that makes not just knock but trying to make it out of finish, and that makes a finish either. And the multiple fights are being initiated at the same time. We are looking for the fights as far as possible, as we could able to see the team 4 Sports. They have had got some sort of three elimination on this period of time. Teams are just getting resources that they essentially need, not just knock, but that makes a finish at the time for the team. We get esports. 4BB Sneaky also got knocked out by Unity himself. Okay, they are working on a very multiple angles. This is a very situation where they have to do something or die on their own. As this situation, this area looks some sort of classified area with most numbers of classes at the same time has been beginned. Let's just get ready. Each and every teams are beating up their enemies, rivals at the same time. Look at this. The players are also getting knocked in. Finished by the team Sky Wrath Esports. 313 Electro also got knocked out. Okay, they are stealing out all of the fracks that they could right now for the team Sky World Esports. Possibly have got casualty, but the recall job has just been initiated and the player will be revived on time. So that will not be a very difficult scenario for the team. VRX Nose also got knocked out for the team. Virix Sports, the healing up battle has been already started. The teams Nil Gurkhali haven't performed any sort of outbreaks till now, but they definitely have had to work hard. Movex Sports got full elimination on their own. No any sort of teams got exactly exited from the lobby till this time. Team Olympius is over here, just getting forwarded in order to find a fine angle. Look at this knock 10 finish against the team Unity Sport. They are also facing too much of the difficulties right on time. Look at this, Brava Fofo also got knocked out. Not only a very blah blah knock, but that makes a finish as well. The very first team have already got exited from the lobby. That was the team none other than Nail Group Rally with the 2 points at an hashtag 20. So yeah, only 2 pointer match for them to look after it. And the team that makes a vehicle elimination at the time, and look at the swords, and that makes a kill as well. Let's convert the knock into the very kills for the Mad Pigs Esports. Last be standing as 3 player of the certain team already get exited from the lobby. Yes, by the time they have had got the very first elimination, in this period of the situation for the team KZD Sports, they have had got 3 elimination by Sports over here, and lastly they also got dispatched or neutralized from the lobby as they got exited. The match was pretty much bad for them to face it out right on time. Look at this team, Unity Sport. They have successfully penetrated overall squad for the team and grab out full elimination on the side as they make the exit of the team Morbex Sports with the 6 elimination. NW project are also getting into the very battle which get to be win out by the team Olympias. Team Olympias are getting down. Look at this, Sky Rat, Team Sky Rat, multiple players are getting knocked out, and yeah, the multiple battles at the same time. Olympias scored, yeah, three elimination on the very side, and another one player for the team AX Sports, I guess, getting knocked out. Sky, Weldy Sports has been converted into the very last place standing, and he's responsible for the rescue process for the whole team as well. Look at the Molly. Okay, the Molly got them on time, and lastly, the last player also got, yeah, affected by the Molly, and lastly, the resulted consequences made them to get exited at hashtag 16. That was not a good thing. For the team ID effects, he had already been through the fight. Sky well, the sports also get exited at like 16 with the three elimination on their way side. Look at this one Cine Sports is also here. Seven fracks has been already collected by the team. Player number three have had contributed four fracks on his own. This year 777 is over here for the team. One Cine Sports. Brooklyn Sports are the team that got exited initially in the very two different matches. In the very first one, they haven't got 1 points, and at on the very last match, second match, the match of Miramar, they have faced 0 point casualty. But at on this third match, they are just getting knocked without doing some sort of fine fights. Imperial Sports are trying to get off. Abbott has to go for the sauce, and look at the knock that they make out in time, and that makes a clear cut finish as well. This will be the very second kill for the team. The revival procedure has already been begun for the team. Reagan Esports players are also getting knocked and finished by the team NW Project. The zone is being converted. I'm getting excited for the next zone conversion. Yes, come to the next zone conversion as well at a music area. Team are over there. Okay, look at the shots, but the player himself also got knocked out. Last place standing for the team. Two of the player already got knocked out. One of the player got finished as well. The player is just moving forward. I don't know exactly where he's heading toward. I could be able to see the team MPD is put out in this manner. If I have to talk about the Brooklyn Sports, first player casually, but the recovery phase and the recall phase has already been done out, and the player is back on the track, back on the field in order to fight, in order to survive with their teammates and all of the stuff like that. Look at the shots that makes knock and finish. Last room is standing for the certain team. There comes the constant shots by the team NW Project. Team Olympias are getting into the very battle of the team Dream Team. For the team Olympias, there comes the very first domination in name of Incubator. The management procedure is being initiated. They are heading towards a very safe place. But the last player is still here trying to go for the vehicle spray. But okay, that was not, yeah, suppressive enough to suppress that player by being ahead. Just from the source, the player has been converted into a very low HP, but he was lucky enough to be safe like that, but not really lucky. Lastly, he also got knocked out. Last best player for the team is responsible for rescue or recall the remaining player that just got brutalized or exited or eliminated by the enemy team. For esports, on their side, they have had a full elimination or square fight on their name, but one of the players for the team also got knocked out through. The revival need to be done on time. So yeah, for the team 4 esports, they're at on the position of which is I must have to check that out. 4 esports at on which position? Okay, they're at a top 10. That was fine, but the position will be compromised if they face early casualty. Since the team who has been for Hungarian boys are looking after that rank, as they are also collecting some sort of fine frags on their very side. Moreover, they have had 4 player advantage in the very scenario. This the NSD taking procedure already been begins. 313 Electro is still here for elimination on their side. Okay, that player also get knocked and finished by the team 313 Electro. Death, which for also knock a player for the team KZ Sports. Lastly, Electro got the elimination domination on his name is the 3 frags by his side. While 4 seconds left for the another stage of the zone, and another stage of the zone will be the stage third. 1400 meter need to get bypass in order to get into the very safe area or zone area. Brooklyn Esports are one of those who haven't had any sort of breakouts till now. Till now, they are at an hashtag 19 position, better position than that of AXE, but not so fine thing. If they got a very fine secondary with some sort of 10 to 15 fracks, then they could able to get into the very hashtag 6 directly. So only a outbreak that is really essential in order to match the very fine positioning. Unity Sports are over here. They have got 4 elimination. For the Team Kids Sports players are not only getting knocked, but two of the players already got exited. If they have had the very yes, what is called as the very yes recover option, then that will be fine. I guess last place standing for the Team KZ Sports are still available over there, and he is responsible for recalling the very remaining players. But sadly, KZD Sports also got exited at hashtag 14 with the 6 elimination, but the lead was pretty much good. So, yeah, for the team X1, it will be lead hard to super pass or just to lead cut off from the team KZD Sports. Where the source, this goes the constant source against that of the very player, but okay, trying to make it out or not, and that makes a knock. Nice knock. I don't know. I guess it will be good to go for the slamming since another one team are also coming at on their upper side area. Look at this. Kirito also got knocked in this, but one of the players for themselves as will not get knocked out. I guess last one is standing for the team Brooklyn Sports as well. Just comes the shot. Imperator also got knocked out. Opponent players is also facing many difficulties at on the same time. The benefit line push is being done, but look at this. Another one player got knocked out. So last in the list player badly. They exposed the shots. The player converted into a very low HP. Brooklyn Sports, one of the players just got knocked out, but the revival hammer has already been initiated. 44 players with the 13 teams are over here. We are being converted into 13 minutes of the game starting time. For the team NW project teams up. Okay, for that certain team players are getting brutalized by the enemies as they are also getting eliminated side by side. Team FL, Y and Z are over here. They are getting into the very battle. The team Dream Team, they have made out some sort of knocks, and by this time they are going for sliming. Okay, the sliming was pretty much difficult right now as the last is standing. Yeah, but make it out of 1v2 and equal and able to do one year on knock at the time, and the remaining two players who just got knocked out are being revived at the same time. But sadly, NW Project also got exited from the lobby. We have had only 11 teams with the 36 players side by side. 4 esports got 7 eliminations, so it will be a very fine outbreak for the team. As like I guess that's true. 4 esports is getting up at an hashtag 9 from hashtag 10. They have had got 9 elimination in total. Only off right which side to get double digit points on their side as a elimination only. NW Project got knocked and finished at hashtag 12 or properly eliminated at hashtag 12 with a 5 elimination. So only 5 points for them to have it. Look at the shots. IET Sports. Glitzy also got knocked out. Rosemary is trying to go for the shots, and that makes a very fine connection. Not just knock, but he brutalized the player fully, properly. Unity Sports players are also getting knocked out. ID Sports is trying to get into the very battle. Let's get into this. Just getting upside. Unity Sports players are also getting knocked out. IHB Sports have had lose the very first player for the team. Unity Sports is also facing number disadvantage at the time as the player are getting knocked in place. As I have to talk about the team order. Okay, not order, but Dream Team. They have got 4 elimination. There goes the constant swords. Team Axan, the very first team, first champion team in the very first match, is facing some sort of difficulties by one of the player get punished. Remaining 3 players are stand by over here with the 8 elimination total. They are also doing fine, not that bad, but the lead taking procedure takes a long and much more frags with the chicken. They are definitely working on the lead, but this wouldn't be sufficient enough to get that. So they must need to be more aggressive in this manner If I have to talk about the team 4 esports, they are doing really, really great with the 11 eliminations. They are going straight forward. We do have only 8 teams left. The teams that got into the very second will able to get appreciated from the placement point. ID Sports, six elimination on their side. The looting of procedure has been begin. But if I have to talk about the team Olympians, they got exited as tech 10 with the 8 elimination, so 8 pointer match for them to fill out. And if we have to talk about the team Region Esports, they got exited at as tech 9 with the single frags, which shows us the which tells a fact that the team get exited with a single frag or single points only in this very match. Not a good thing. This was the grenade, but the projectile doesn't seem to be familiar at all. So no, not a very fine connection at the time. Let's go with the swords. Let's put the swords, and that is facing some sort of difficulties. And here for the big A actually esports are also getting knocked out. This was the proper shots, but not proper enough to match make that player or knock. So just play and okay. One player knock, two player knock, and third player also get brutalized at the time. Lastly, that player also got exited from the lobby. We have at only 18 teams and 7 teams, 18 players and 7 teams over here for the team IS Esports. I guess whole squad got exited at a Nasdaq 7, I guess. Yeah, not 7, but at Nasdaq 8 with the elimination. They got 7 points in total. Another one team that got exited at 7 will be the team AX Esports with a single elimination. Only got 2 points on their side. If I have to talk about the team Dream Team, they are also doing really a very fine match. Moreover, Team X1 are trying to take their lead back. But look at this, the feedback wouldn't be a very fine decision or fine situation to face it out. The feedback from the enemies was pretty much difficult to understand for them. So it will be the fine thing to be back from that fight. Fight wouldn't be sustainably fine for the future that is coming by. If I have to talk about the Unity Sport, they also got exited at has success with a 5 elimination. They got total 7 points in total. If I have to talk about the team 4 esports, they have got elimination, but with 3 player loss. Dream Team Technique is trying for a grenade, but the grenade was overcooked for sure. Without even a very good projectile, this goes another grenade. I don't think so that will be connected. But the revival procedure need to be restarted on time. He's trying to make a player that face knock a revival. But look at this another one player for the team. Just got knocked out for the very dream team. That was a knock, but the revival was pretty much easier, and they have already done that. And all of the 4 players are on a very standby positioning right on time. Only 5 teams with the 13 players are over here. 19 minutes of the game has been already converted from the starting time, as like I say so for the team Dream Team. The very first player also got knocked out. However, has to get ready with the molly. They have thrown that out. Dream Team is over here. 5 elimination has been already collected by the certain team. They are trying to make it out. The knock has a finish as well. Remaining 4 teams are over here. The game seems to be really interesting. Let's get closer. The player revival will be lead hard. The survival will be really hard since the player is facing damage from outside the zone. And lastly, Technique also got knocked out outside the very zone. Not a good thing. But last 2 minutes standing are over here. But the revival has been started. But the fight was pretty much going towards the team Brooklyn Sports if they could able to push against that enemy's team on time, but it is taking a lot of time to do that. So the revival procedure wouldn't be hard enough. Dream Team just got exited as third with a 5 elimination in total. They got 10 points in total, past 5 points with as a third positioning appreciation and remaining 5 points as a frag point. 6 players with the 2 teams as tournament starting for the team G Sports and for the enemy team. Whole squad is being revived. 3 of the player already been done out, and I guess one of the player will be hard enough to do that. So they are trying to just get closer. Brooklyn Sports throwing grenade who don't have any sort of hidden tails with the connection against enemies. That was truly a very random net, and this another net by another teammate for the team GE has been odd net as well. But look at this, that makes a very first knock. Last place standing. I guess it will be a very miss for the chicken. Look at the sauce, look at the constancy. Lastly, he also got exited from the lobby, and the team once in esports they have got a very very fine champion title with the chicken dinner for the team once in esports, and that was really a fabulous battle. But the one main fact that shaped them to have had a chicken dinner is that the revival procedure was pretty much quicker and safer at the time at that of the very certain time. Three of the players just got knocked out, but the revival procedure has been taken out by a single player who able to revive two of the players, whereas one of the player was really hard to do that. So but yeah, they have done a very fine fact. But one fine fact for the team Brooklyn Sports is that the zone was against them as well as the enemies. They are facing two damage, one from the one in sports and another one from the zone as well. So both of the damage got that on that certain time, and they do miss out that chicken dinner. But we must have to regard their game as a very fine one. 23 fracks in total for the team, none other than one series put, and that was a really a great comeback. 33 pointer match for them to face it out. Fighter got for elimination 10 by Subas and 6 by this year 777, and but the top frag will be the player since Subas himself with the 10 elimination total with the 1100 almost 1200 damage by side, 3 assists, 398 healings, and survival will be 19 minutes of the survival time, and that was good as they got chicken. And at the top we will able to see Subas he got followed by another one player, this 777 for the same team. At the top we got a player for the IDX for the team X1 is put with 6 elimination. Fourth will be our OP Mirrors. If I have to talk about the match rankings, at the top we could able to see the one series sports, they got a very very fabulous comeback with the 23 points, and that was a very great outrace won by this team. Second will be the team Sukal Centera UNQ X1 esports with the 16 points. Third will be the team 4 esports with the 14 points. Fourth will be Gurukhlin esports with the 13 points, and fifth will be Dream Team with the 10 points, and remaining team Olympias with the 7, Olympics with 8, and NW Project with the 7, and remaining we have to work hard. If I have to talk about in collective results after tournaments, at the top we could able to see a player named as Kazit Natalia with a 13 elimination total. Second will be our IDX for the team X1 with a 14 frag. The frag was yes truly more than that of the very S1 MVP, but the damage constraints so something different. The minor determinants make him add on the very first side, and third will be our player OP Imperator 096 with the 8 elimination. Fourth will be our Vix of Lob with the 9 elimination as well. And last we got a player for the team Sin Suvas Sao for the team once in esports. And that was a true fact. And this comes our over the standings at the top. We will be able to see the team KZD Sports with the 48 points. Secondly, we got the team Centura UNQ with the 41 points at the third. By this certain match, they have got 33 points in total. So, past two games only able to get them only 3 points, and this will be the greatest comeback that they make out. At the ninth or second phase, Dream Team was over there with 16, NW Project with 16, Brooklyn with 14, 11 for the Madpix, I8 got 10 points, and 4 Hungarian boys got 10 points, and at 15 we got a Sky Welt with 8 points, and at 16 we got a Unity Sports. Remaining teams are at on third phase. Our last phase, 9 Gurkali is here with the 7 points in total. Flynn Sports are here with the 5 points. And Implication X is here with 2 points. And we have to talk about the schedule. And the very first game has been taken out by Team X1 Sports, second by KZ, and third one by the Team 1 Senior Sports. And we have had a very last map left. And the very last map will be the map of Wrangel, the most favorable map for most of the teams. And I'm also getting excited for the very last battle, the deciding battle. We will be back with that battle. Till then, if you are new to the very channel, don't forget to like and subscribe and enjoy the highlights. Till then, we'll be right back. Okay, the very last game has been already started, and this is our the last and the least match and the deciding match, side by side. FLY and Zit are getting into the very battles, but yeah, this is the very question. Among or against which team they are going by. That is a very fact as we have to talk about the team. Mad Pixie Sports, who plays standing. They have had got the very first elimination, but the offline player Josh got initially knocked and finished by the team REZE and Sports, but for the team, they have had already only joined duo main, whereas two of the player are absent for the team, and among these of the very two player, one of the player already got exited as well. So last place standing, how will you able to manage the fight out? And their overall standings wasn't that fine enough. The points table, at on the very points table, they are at on the very lower rank or lower position, right on time. And this player is trying to get on that very rooftop, looking for a fine angle in order to go for shots and all, doing that some sort of feeling a procedure on time. 1-3 3 7 of fights is over here. Have a scoop the shots. UNS Karma 7-7 is still here on this very point of time. Talk about it, the bandage supplying procedure is being held out at on the very concurrent movement. Look at this, the bandage supplying procedure is being done out, but the sad thing or bad thing or bad fact is that they have had lose two of their players. Last room is starting. Have has to go for the shots. Player are just holding up and looking for the initiation of the very enemy's teams over here. And for Hungarian boys have had faced the very first casualty, and one player for the team just got knocked. And lastly, the recent sports overall duo just got eliminated from the lobby. Hungarian boys, Sneaky just got knocked out. You already got knocked and finished either way. Sneaky just got knocked out. Remaining three OK two player are over here. And one player also got knocked out. Last player standing is responsible, and he do have had a very strong mentality to clutch the team in order to save his team mates at the time. That makes knock and finish. I guess last place standing was over there, but the revival phase just got initiated by Ved Khan. Look at the shots, and that is making knocked and finish against the team Unity. I guess for the team Unity as well. Last place standing only lifted at that on the point. But as we have to talk about the team for Hungarian boys, they got six elimination in total. The casualty was truly unaffordable for the team. Last Roman standing for that certain team, but look at the knock that the team Olympians just make it out, and okay, that makes a finish as well. I guess for the team 4 esports, they are fighting on. Last Roman standing for that certain team that had an as 7 but got exited earlier with Byrix, and 4 are the teams that got exited right now. But look at this, another one team, so called 4 Hungarian boys, they also got eliminated from the lobby, and the player himself, Ford, make it out a 1v3 elimination or clutch right over here. And he got the very first nomination on his name, but at what cost? The cost is the 3 teammates. He had lost his 3 teammates in this sudden fight, which is truly a very bad fact for the team. But another one team initiation, I could able to see that they are coming close by. Unity Sports is trying to get into the very battle with that of the very player, but that also got exited by the team Yan W Esports. Yan W Project, one of the player at an offside area, this goes the shot, but lastly, Unity Ford can't afford that shot. Lastly, he also got eliminated from the lobby. Yan W Project, the project was successful right over here with the 6 elimination. They are going fine. 4 players standing, no any casualty in this sort of fights. So they are happy and healthy at the same time. Happy because they haven't got a 6 elimination. Healthy because they haven't lose any sort of players or teammates at the time. Just is getting ready with the grenade. Have had to throw that out. I guess that knock will be a very sure thing, but the player was pretty much lucky as he could able to heal himself on time, but not much. Look at this, Zeus just got that one player on time. That makes a knock. He's trying to make that knockout finish, and that will be the very finishing touch and fifth kill for the team. Abar has to go for the fight. Ukraine Sports is also facing, knocked in finish or casually by the team. Mad peaks at the time. Juice is getting ready. Look at this. Another one played for the team. Mad peaks got knocked out, and the way Baines has been done by the team Kirito for the team Ukraine Sports. The fight seems to be pretty much interesting, as I have to talk about the team Morbix Sports last place standing, last two plays standing. But same for the enemy team as well. Just get down. Okay, nice one. That was a nice knock. I guess last place standing as in the backside area that just got entered to the battlefield. Let's get ready with the grenade. I'm about to throw that out. Okay, the player has just arrived over here, and lastly, he also got exited from the lobby. The team just got exited and has stuck 2 with a 5 frag, so only 5 points has been grabbed out by that certain team. If I have to talk about the team Olympias, they have had got for elimination or complete squad fight on their very name, so they are good enough with a 4 place standby on their own. Looking Sports Oscar exited as Labin by fighting against the team Mad Pixie Sports, and they have had make 2 player casualty for that something, but at the last they get exited. Look at the shots, and that makes a knock either way, and not just knock, but that makes a clear cut finish by the team, and this will be the 5th strike for the team. Let's get ready. In Olympias is over here. 3 elimination domination in this player name. The band is playing procedure is being initiated. Mad Pix also got exited at the chain with a 3 elimination. Let's go for the fight. But sadly, Opiko Mera also got knocked out. But this is a very bad moment. Not a good fact for the team. Last place standing is over here. Goga is trying to retreat this fight by making last player dead soon. But the decision is to go closer for the battle. With the UMP, he's trying to get into the very battle, but lastly, he also got exited by the team Dream Team, and Dream Team just managed out of this battle. And one of the player for the team have it done 1v3 clutch against the team Olympias. But with the loss of the very first player, they are some sort of sad, but there is no time to be sad enough. This is the very last game, the deciding match, as well as the very last chance to show off their potential, their true self to the lobby. This is the very last and last moment for the team, and not only for this team, but all of the teams that are alive right now. This is the very last battle that they are performing in this sudden event. Look at this NW project. New Weeks have had faced too many swords against him. Lastly, look at that. Team Dreamy Sport Tax also got knocked out. Let's get closer for the battlefield purposes. Okay, last in the list, we also take casualty. And for the team, NW project, it is being a very, very big project to have at. They have already grabbed 13 points in total, with the casualty of the very first player named as Surprise. Remaining 3 players are standby. At this point, the zone will be closing in only 13 seconds. I'm being pretty much excited for that. 20 teams with the 7 teams are available among this of the very 7 teams, which will be the lucky enough team to grab the very last and lucky second in on their very side, or got a very heroic exit at the last. KZD Sports, they're at an offside area with some sort of 9 point difference with Axan Sports. Not just 9, but I guess that will make out 10 pointer difference between Aztec 1 and 2. And in Aztec 3rd, we got a team One Series Sports. They are here with 40 points in total, so they are also closer. So KZ Haber has to collect much more points in order to sustain on their own positioning. It is really important to get points in order to save their positioning and all, since 2 of the teams are being ready to replace them. The team Axan and One Scene are looking for a fine momentum. Look at the swords, they are trying to go for the swords. ID Sports trying to get into the very barrel. Let's go for it, but the connection haven't been a very fruitful scenario for them to take it out. 18 players, 7 teams are over here. NW Project got 15, 15, 15, 15 total elimination. They are at Nasdaq 6, and okay, the very second player for the team just got knocked and finished by the team. Dream Team Esports. Let's get closer. Abra has to go for the fight and all. One player as on the very front line. Let's get into the very fight. This goes the shots. Okay, okay, come on, come on. But this player also got knocked out and trying to make it out a very sudden finish. Last player standing for the team, and that also makes a very clear cut finish. 1v3 by the player of Nai Gurkali, but I think I was wrong at that moment as I called them as a dream team. The logo seems to be similar, so I must be get confused because of that region. But look at this. This player himself have gone of very, very 1v3 killers and trying to go for the another one as well. Okay, another one team are always or yeah, always are already been here. The fight is always 1v3 by this player. But this time the fights will be much more harder since both the teams are going against this single player, and lastly he also got exited by the teams, and that makes a proper clutch. And this is a team once in this sport we got a chicken dinner in the very last match and doing really fine in this very match as well as they got 5 millimeters in total with a player casualty. The grenade is been pinned out, and makes that doesn't make a very fine connection. The projectile doesn't seem to be accurate at all. This goes to another one. Let's get ready with the another one as the player just got taken down by being down. Some sort of that. The fall damage got him. So let's get ready for that. The grenade has been thrown out against those of the enemies. Only 5 teams are over here. The healing up procedure have been already done out, but the revival procedure just been executed. But the enemy team are coming close by. Let's go. First knock, but no. Second player got him on time. Last player standing, Subhas is getting back as is only responsible representative for the team so far since 3 of the player for that certain team already got exited. For the MPT Sports last player standing, IT Sports 3 players standing. For the team I Sport they just got 2 elimination with a player casualty. Beside of that, the zone has been out of their gone out of their pocket. For the team KZD Sports as well, 2 of the player already got knocked in finish. X1 are over here with a 4 players standing. They are also likely to get the positioning on their side. However, as they just get moving, they have had a very fine zone, I guess. I could able to see one of the player over there at a time for the team. Once in his sport, last in the list is standing. I don't know where he is heading by this time. He got spotted by Kenzo for the team X1. Only 11 players and 5 teams are over here. We have been already converted into 16th minute of the time from the starting. Just heading towards there, just looking after that. Couldn't able to sense that fact the player is being yeah completely covered at the moment, not giving any hint of exposure towards him. But okay, look at this. I could able to see some sort of enemies are coming close by. I guess the battle will be initiated right over here. ID Sports is going straightforwardly. I'm expecting a spray from there, but okay, the player decided to get down on time in order to just get a closer. Let's get close. The effect is going offside in this situation, but the some sorts hit him and that convert him into something lower HP. ID Sports are over here for the teams. 3 of the player availability. 1 of the player already got knocked in. Finish for the certain team. And 11 players and 5 teams are still here. The banish plan procedure ever has been drawn out. And IT Sports, they are not in a very fine positioning. They are at an hashtag 14. If they have had this game on their side, then it will definitely convert them to be into the hashtag 10 position. So I guess they are working for that. The ban discipline procedure also being initiated right over here. You do have had a very fine availability of the fossil which is 7 in number. You will able to try for a certain healing battle as well at the last. But that is not a good thing to do right now. By spirit time they have had to move forward into the very zone as soon as possible. Effect and Glitchy are heading towards the zone. Whereas one of the players, Sukal Rosemary, already got knocked in place. Lastly, for the team MPT Sports, last player was taken down at an has the fifth with a single elimination. They got altogether 4 points in this certain match. 3 point as a placement appreciation by being on hashtag 5 and 1 point as a prac point. They are just getting up. X1 Sports got a very first prac on this side. We have had only a team that got 4 player viable on the lobby. Many of the very teams are at on 3 for the team ID Sports or 3 for the ID Sports, and for the team KZ, only 2 women standing, and for the team One Team Sports there is only a player left. This goes the swords, this comes the swords. I'm gonna go for the swords and all. This goes the vehicles play, but that was not effective enough to make that player knock from the standing positioning. With the swords, okay, okay, not so fine as well, but that makes some sort of fine connection. Not fine, but some sort of decent connection at the time. Look at this one of the player for the team. X1 just got knocked out outside the zone. And I guess this will be the very first casualty, but they are big being back in order to save that player, so it wouldn't be that hard. I guess this is our stage 5, and I'm getting excited for the stage of the tune. That will be our stage 6. Only a minute and 10 seconds left. Let's quickly get into the very zone. Let's get moving. 10 players with the 4 teams are over here. ID Sports are also here. One of the players who got Rosemary got knocked in, finished for the team. So remaining players are over here. Only 50 seconds left. They have to bypass some sort of 200-meter, almost 200-meter, in order to get into the very proper zone. ID Sports are over here. Triple standing, trying to go with the grenade and all. Okay, one of the players just got knocked out by player named as Effect on this factful manner. More Mamiax is getting ready with the grenade. Have had to throw that out. This goes the throwable, but the projectile doesn't seem to be accurate, so the damage wouldn't be delivered on point. This grenade also couldn't able to damage or face or take any sort of fruitful results to this team ID Sports. Here comes the grenade that makes some sort of damage against this of the very players. This goes the shot and that makes a knock. By the time coming close by, this will be the very first knock for the team. Second also got knocked out through the grenade. Last place standing for the team, and Glitzy also got exited. Lastly, X1 Esports, they the very fabulous pair against the team ID Sports, and they make the team exit from the lobby. But bad fact is that one of their player again get knocked out by the zones for the second very time. But by this time, it is really hard to save him out. And lastly, the player himself get exited from the lobby. As I have to call that out, 3 of the players for the team already got knocked in finish. So last place signing will be our Supsa. Nesting drinking process have already been drawn out. Ever has to go for the shots and alls. Let's just get inside of this. Subasa is still here, and he had already contributed 4 elimination on his own, which was great. As I have to say that was great and great at the same time. There is a maximum chances of winning this battle by the team, none other than the team X1 themselves. But Subasa isn't going anywhere. He's also being very much well prepared. He don't wanna let the team to get the chicken. Not only once in, but KZ also don't wanna get the team X1 or chicken, since it makes a very problematic situation in positioning. It makes them to lose their positioning. So KZ have to be more they have to be more conscious. Suba is trying to make out a sort of smoke cover right on time. The games turn out to be a really intense battle right over here in the battlefield. Subasa is getting closer. He's getting ready with the grenade. Both of the teams are throwing throwables against each other. But the projectile of the enemy team doesn't seem to be accurate at all. But look at that another grenade. Tsubasa faced some sort of damage right now, having a good shots, and look at this last place standing. Also got brutalized by the team X1 Sports, and they got the very last game second in as well. But both of the Wrangle maps second goes to the team X1 Esports, and they are champions. They are the ruler for the map Wrangle. Two Wrangle for the event. Both of them has been taken out by the team X1 Sport. Started by the X1 Sports, and there is a heroic exit by the X1 Sports too. So can the X1 Sports could able to be on the very Aztec one? That is the question. But by this time, I'd like to congratulate Team X1 for a heroic exit. As I've talked about the Secret Hunter, Team Stars X1 got 6 elements in total, 2 by Thinax and 1 by Ike Genox and 2 by Ghibli Bricks, and lastly 1 by IDX. Altogether, they got 6 elimination with the 649 damage in total. Congratulations, that makes a 16-pointer match for them to have had. But that was yeah, assumption of mine that they must be in the Aztec one. But lastly, we are over here and we got our very MVP for 4 of the matches. Super Weekend presented by Meta Mini Sports. 13 elimination in total by his side, and he will be the top fragger or MVP most valuable player for this event. 4 matches event, won the event, and he was the MVP. Later on, we got our very second runner-up team, and that was a team none other than Team Once in Sports that got a very great outbreaks at in the very third match or second last match, the map of Rondo. At in that, they got 23 elimination chicken, which allowed them to have a 33-pointer match that converted them from there to there, and we got our runner up as KZD Sport with the 56 points in total, with a winner chicken in a 20 placement point with a 2 chicken on their side. But champion will be the team none other than Shintaro UNO with the 2 chicken dinners and 31 total elimination, the 26 point and 57 total points. And the congratulations champions, Shintaro UNO, X1 Esports, for the beautiful ending and good starting at the very first match, and first and last match have has been on their side. And if we have to talk about the leaderboard in context of MVP at the top, we got a player is Natalia beside of him. Another one player is following him, and that was the player IDX for the team X1. Third will be our Subastro for the One Team Sports with us 14 frags. And this comes over is standing at the top. We will able to see the team X1 Sport with the 57 points, only a point gap between this of the very two top teams. Third will be the One Team Sport with the 48 points. Fourth will be Morbex with the 33. 5 will be Team Olympias with the 32. 6 will be NW Project with the 32. 7 will be Virex Sports. And look at the second phase. 4 Sport with the 20. Or Dream Team with the 18. I8 with the 16. 16 for the Brooklyn Sports as well. 4 Hungarian boys are here with the 16 points. Mad Picks are at an 14 with the 14 points. 15 will be Night Gurkali with the 12. And then 16 we got a team named as Unity Sports with the 10. And let's get into the very over here. Sky Wealth and 17 with the 8 total points, and 18 Fleeting Sports is here with the 7 points, and 19 Region, and at last XC Sports. And schedule goes like this. At the very first match, the team X1 got a very beautiful second. The second one has been taken out by the team KCT Sport with the 23 points. Third game has been picked out by the team none other than One City Sport with the 33 points. And last game was for the team X1 again. They got do different, not different but same map, but different matches second inner at on first and at on last, and they truly deserve to be champion. But the lead was only one. So yeah, nice try KZD Sports. And once in sports got outbreak in the third match that lead them to be in a sector. So this is the very story of the match, and I'd like to say that this is the final goodbye for the event. Night Ross, and I'm Castro and Mole. We will meet you definitely in more events in upcoming future. Till then, bye bye, tata, take care.